Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video. And this video is going to be 5 NHL trades that were close to happening in 2020. So obviously before the trade deadline. So if you are here and you're new to the channel, please subscribe, smash that like button, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to get right into it, starting with ANDREAS ATHANASIOU almost getting traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know if many people remember, but on trade deadline day, I was streaming that day, and it seemed like ATHANASIOU was going to the Blue Jackets. Multiple insiders were reporting it. And it was one of those things, is it going to happen? What for? But it seemed like the talks were so far in that it wasn't going to get turned around. It wasn't going to change. But all of a sudden then a couple hours or even less than a couple hours later, ATHANASIOU got traded to the Oilers. I think the speculation was that the Blue Jackets had an offer that was like a second-round pick and another piece. And then when the Oilers did commit to 2 second-round picks, I think the Detroit Red Wings were smart in that. I think Steve Yzerman was smart in that, and he was kind of using it as like a bargaining tool that he already had a trade in place. So then when the Edmonton Oilers were in conversation, it ended up being 2 second-round picks for ATHANASIOU. So if not for the Edmonton Oilers stepping up, ATHANASIOU could have been with the Blue Jackets. KREIDER to the Bruins or Avalanche. So this was heavily reported by many sources that these were the 2, I would say, top destinations for KREIDER. I think the Blues were in there. The Penguins were in there. There was other teams in there. But if you're looking at the Boston Bruins, they ended up making a trade for Ondrej Kase. I think the Bruins might have still made the KREIDER trade, even with the Kase addition. But I think the Avalanche were the number 1 team. And had KREIDER and the Rangers not gotten to a contract extension, I do believe he would have been either an Avalanche or a Boston Bruin. So that's really interesting. It came down to you either sign the contract extension now or a trade goes down. All right, Tyson Barrie trade, TJ Brodie trade, swap. There was one rumor that almost happened, a TJ Brodie for Tyson Barrie swap on trade deadline day. There was obviously the other rumors that Tyson Barrie was maybe going to get traded. The Toronto Maple Leafs wanted a first-round pick plus. So the fact that they were only getting offered like a second-round pick or a couple picks, they just didn't want to make that trade. But then there was the conversations because the Leafs almost got TJ Brodie in a different trade. Nazem Kadri obviously denied the trade, but he was going to be a Calgary Flame. TJ Brodie and Mark Jankowski were going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. And that trade didn't go down. And then obviously Kadri got traded to the Avalanche. But so there's been a couple times where TJ Brodie was almost a Toronto Maple Leaf. He is a left shot defenseman. So in terms of like the ideal fit, he doesn't fit that. But I think he does play a better defensive game than Barrie, but both ultimately contribute more in terms of their style offensively. So, I mean, it would have been really interesting. I think Tyson Barrie was the guy that was more likely to be traded. I think the Flames were just comfortable, and if they had a good offer for TJ Brodie, like I think the Flames would have preferred having a guy like Tyson Barrie because they already have some defensive responsible guys. And I mean, for their top power play unit, I mean, they've had Gustafsson in there. I feel like Tyson Barrie would be a better option, potentially. So, you know what? I think I've suggested Tyson Barrie potentially to the Calgary Flames in the offseason. I'm not sure I could say the same for TJ Brodie with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but who knows? I do think Tyson Barrie could be a very good partner for Mark Giordano. I think they would complement each other very well. So we'll see, but it's really interesting that one of those scenarios could have happened with these 2 players. All right, Zach Parise to the New York Islanders in a blockbuster trade. So I think a lot of you guys have seen this one. It was going to be Zach Parise and Mikko Koivu potentially to the New York Islanders, but Koivu said no to that. He wants to retire as a Minnesota Wild. But in this proposed trade, I guess, it was going to be Parise at least going to the Islanders, and it was going to be Andrew Ladd and potentially 1 or 2 other pieces. So there was some rumors that Bellows was part of this trade, or that it was just a first-round pick, or that there was a couple different pieces attached to Andrew Ladd and Parise going back to the Islanders. Obviously, it didn't materialize, and maybe it still does materialize in the offseason, but it got shut down, and the trade deadline passed, and it didn't happen. But it would have been crazy, and it was close, because it came down to the situation where Lou Lamoriello, what he does, it doesn't really leak, and a lot of this information was leaking. So maybe Lou Lamoriello just didn't pull the trigger at that moment because he didn't like that it leaked. But again, there's a whole bunch of other stuff to that trade. And then finally, Taylor Hall trade to the Calgary Flames. This was, again, heavily rumored more. I mean, Taylor Hall, I think the hometown aspect is there, but I also think that if you're looking at Taylor Hall, he could be a guy that goes to the Calgary Flames in the offseason. I think a lot of people are pointing to that. I'm not completely sold on it, but again, I could see it. I think the trade, and again, this is just me speculating, there was no hard rumors to this, but I think the Devils were definitely looking at two defensemen like Shillington or Valimaki. And obviously that's a no, that's a no for the Calgary Flames. That's a non-starter. So if I maybe thought of guys that could have been involved, I mean, I've talked about Sam Bennett and him needing a change of scenery. I don't think he has too much value at this point. The Calgary Flames don't really have A-level prospects right now up front. So was it a B-level prospect? Was it a first-round pick? I think at the end of the day, what the New Jersey Devils would have got from the Calgary Flames was less than what they did end up getting from the Arizona Coyotes. So while this trade was close, I do think the Devils went with the better option with the Arizona Coyotes. So let me know what you think. I think these 5 trades would have been huge to happen on trade deadline day. I mean, there was another one. I think Trevor Lewis was almost traded to the Capitals. Like, there was other small deals that almost happened. But overall, I think these were like the 5 bigger ones that almost happened in the start of 2020, whether it was the first couple months or right up into the trade deadline. So let me know what you think. I'm going to make more trade proposals or trade scenario videos for this upcoming offseason. Obviously, we're expecting hockey to come back, and I think I'm excited. I hope all of you are excited if it's safe to do so. I hope hockey does come back. Thank you for watching again. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, please subscribe, smash that like button, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. This was John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.